Human being is so complex, so fascinating that so much can be done by this human being if alone we are let to blossom in our own natural way. Where do we start with as children? I've just put years 0 to 7 and 7 to 14 and 14 to 21. It's not as if from after the 7th birthday, the child starts feeling. And after the 14th birthday, the child starts thinking. No, that's not. It is what I have done. And this is not just me. This is an idea that is being borrowed by Rudolf Steiner, and this is what was practiced in the Gurukula system in India, ancient India. And till the 7th year, till the fall of the milk teeth, children learn by observation and imitation. And what you say, like to process it with thought, is not their forte. This is not to say that the brain is not functioning. This is not to say that thinking is not happening, but thinking through will. If you see children, they will play and play and play, and through that play, they understand something. You will see them playing with blocks. If you observe children at free play, not the play that we call in most what our kindergartens call these days pre-KG, pre-primary classes. They're just given a set of things and given instructions how to play. That's not the play I'm talking about. When children are given uninstructed play time, and when you watch them play, you will see how thinking will stem out of what they're doing. And that is self-learning, and that is the true learning that will stay on forever. We can teach and teach and teach, but self-learning is what will stay with them. When you say LCM or HCF, whatever, that is it. When I have that aha moment, and then I can do 100 sums on my own. But till I get that how to do it, aha moment, it is only the outsider influence, the effort from outside, not my internal understanding. So 0 to 7 years, it's so easy to understand that children learn by doing and doing and doing. And then in 7 to 14 years, the adolescence, when it sets in, I hate this teacher, so I don't like that subject. I love my teacher, so I just get fondness for that subject. Or I love anything that I love, I can go into it deeper and deeper. And aggression, the whole hormone imbalance that makes that age group to sleep late, wake up late, and to have a lot of aggression in class or with parents, to argue. It's so healthy. So if your teenager is revolting in the house, celebrate, because he's normal, she is normal. This is the budding individual that's coming. I'm not saying let them do whatever they want, but it is a sign that they're developing in a healthy way, and we need to address it also with understanding. We need to bend them, but we can't break them. At this point, I also want to speak about different constitutional types. For us, the body is the foundation of what we are. It's the punadi in Telugu, they say, the foundation, the real base on which everything else, the superstructure, is built. And the human being is a wonder being. It's a wonderful creation. Whether you believe or you're non-believer, that doesn't matter. But the human being is so complex, so fascinating, that so much can be done by this human being if alone we are let to blossom in our own natural ways. It doesn't matter where we reach, but even a sweeper or a menial worker, if they can do their job so well, heads turn, isn't it? You want to speak to that person, you want to check. The human being has immense potential. If we are not aping, if we are not stunted in various ways, not just physical development, but in various ways we get stunted, we get closed into a shell. But if we can avoid all that, a human being has immense potential. So when we're talking about constitutional types, we have children of varying capacities, varying ways of learning. I'm not going to talk today about learning difficulties, but because that's a very vast topic. But when we speak about varying methods in which a child learns, some of them will be very slow, methodical. They will go one by one. Even if they're going to arrange a pencil box, they will put the pencil in one side, an eraser next to it, then they will keep it. They will go on and on. And then you have these cholerics. They just throw things. Just if they're removing their footwear also, it'll go flying everywhere. And they have that choler, that energy, that natural aggression. It need not be harmful, but they have that hot-blooded choler in them. And you have some children who are very like a butterfly. One moment here, the other moment distracted like this, very quickly they want variety. They can't stick to one thing. One day they want to do this, the next day another. They can't be methodical. And these are the children who will immediately want to help someone. Like something is happening, I can do that for them, because they just need to move on. So it's a quality, and none of these are defects, mind you. Everything can be a strength, and it can also be impairment. It can be a hindrance. But let's look at the qualities. The fourth one is a melancholic. They like to be alone. They get very disturbed if in a crowd. They like to be on their own. They're the thinkers, the philosophers. They like to brood over something. Some small thing happens. Why me? What is this whole world, this whole action? Why is it happening this way? The melancholics, they like to be on their own. They like to be left alone. They like to think a lot and be. So these are broadly 4 types. It's not as if we have 4 tight compartments. Some of us may have 2 of these qualities together, 2 of these temperaments, intertwined, or one very predominant and the others in a small way. Also, over the years, we may have one temperament and we grow into another. So these are things that we need to bear in mind before. Yes, I will name them. The first is choler. You have your choleric, and then you have sanguine. The second one is sanguine, flitting like a butterfly. One moment here, one moment there. The third is phlegmatic, slow, methodical. And the fourth is melancholic. Choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, and melancholic. Yeah. So these are the 4 temperaments. And why am I saying this? So as a teacher, as a parent, I need to understand, one size does not fit all. And it's not just about different methods. I need to even understand, if this child is slow, I can't expect him to go to a battle and fight. I can't expect him to take part in a debate or oratory where you need to be very forceful. If I put a choleric child there, he will just shine through. This is not to say that a melancholic or a phlegmatic child is less intelligent. It is just that each one has a way to do things, a way to look at things, and every single temperament can be a super strength if you don't break it. Even when you're teaching hobbies, when you're choosing hobbies, we need to understand, is my child this? If you get a melancholic child to play tabla, it'll be a disaster. If you get a choleric child to play tabla, it will be great. So if you get a melancholic or a phlegmatic child to play a piano or a keyboard, they will shine better. And these are things, nuances, very small things, but can you imagine that it will make a whole lot of difference to the way? So now coming to the age groups that I have put here, like 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21. I would like to go in, there is a possibility to go in great detail, but because we just have a short time, but just to know that these aspects need to be borne in mind when we are dealing with children. We always make children sit in front of a blackboard in the pre-primary classes. I actually abhor the term PP1, PP2, kindergarten, nursery and kindergarten. They're such beautiful terms and they have a meaning. What is nursery and kindergarten? Kindergarten is a German word, kinder meaning children and garden is garden. And kindergarten and nursery, there's a reason why they're called, because children at that time are like tender plants. They need a lot of protection. They need a lot of care, nourishment. And then when they become a tree, the same cows from which you protected them, they can be tied on that trunk of the tree, So it's like they're so strong, but they have to wait for them to get strong. It's very important to protect children in the young age. And if there is a time when children all the time moving, right? Because what is their strength? Willing, doing things, fleeting, moving fast, that's their strength. So if you curb that, and that's also required for physical development, mind you, like when the more they move, especially the milestones as infants, when they crawl, when they creep on the chest, with the chest they creep on the floor, these are very important floor time that develops their muscles and which in turn gets their bones, everything in place. And this is what will lead to neurological development. So all this will activity, the movement is so important, but what do we do in schools by and large? I'm not talking about the alternative educational schools, but by and large, we make them sit, we make them write, we make them memorize. But that's the time for the physical body to develop. And it's not to say that they can't do something, but what do they need? What do they need? They need immense amount of time for play, for moving, for exploring, to experience the world, and also experience the world not just physically, also that the world is good, right? The world is good, it's beautiful. So to bring in aesthetics in the classroom and in the home, to bring in orderly talk, to bring that love for the world, because I'm introducing my baby, my child, to this world, and I want it to be most beautiful. Even to see, there should be order in sight, order in what I hear. It's so beautiful. As a child, I must feel that this is a beautiful place. I want to be here. I want to come to school. I want to be in this house. So if I have everything messy, I'm not trying to make parents who are working feel guilty. When I say order, functional order, it need not be like a 5-star hotel, but functionally there should be order. When a child sees around, this is where something should be. This is the place for the broomstick. This is the place for my toys. Orderliness is a beauty on its own. So it also makes life easier, isn't it? Being orderly. So parents who find it difficult to get that order in the house, just remember you're lacking will. You're more in this realm. Just awareness can make a change in your life. For me, it was earth-shattering discovery to find out where I lacked and why is my life in a particular way and how I can make it better. Awareness is the first stepping stone to bringing change and change for the better. So to understand, am I too much here? Am I too much here? Or am I too much in will and that I'm constantly looking for instruction from somebody else? Aap boliye, main kar deta hu. क्यों आपको नहीं मालूम? Don't you know what you have to do? So I don't know, if you tell me, I will do. There are also that part of it, right? So please understand where you are, and then the correction will happen automatically, with a little effort, conscious effort. And it's also important to understand that in the 0 to 7 years, it's very important to protect children from onslaught of sensory stimuli. So you carry a small baby to a wedding where there's blaring music, and then you feed them those chemically laden foods. Oil is floating, and now that's okay. My child has to get used to everything. Later his immunity will become weak if I don't expose him. When do you expose? When the growth is complete. When I said you can tie a cow to the trunk, and that's the time for exposure. But when I have to be protected, I have to be protected. There are no two ways about it. That is why in ancient India, there was a sacred regimen about after delivery practices. What time, when, which month a mother is allowed to go out, which month a child is allowed to even go back to the husband's house. These were all considered superstition or archaic practice, but they had a lot of science behind it. And unfortunately, in our quest to denounce everything that is ancient, we just left a lot of beautifully good practices. So if you see, there's a lot of science behind it. As a remedial therapist, when I studied developmental stages, the way the eye processes 3D vision, and what practices were carried on in neonatal home, like how they prepare the room of a newly delivered mother. It's so much sense. So I really want everyone to understand that this being is not a miniature adult, this being that's come into the world. So it's so important that we understand this.